Well, hello and welcome to another video. So in this video we are going to discuss how to create fragment profile functionality. How we are basically going to insert profile data into the database, and we'll be fetching those data as well. And before I forget, before we move ahead, I have added these two files, IC edit and IC file, because in our bottom navigation bar we forgot to add these two icons. So let's go to menu, bottom nav, and I have just added these icons drawable in both the items. So if you don't have these lines and these files, you can go to the repository. I have pasted the link in the description of this video, and you can fetch this to from there. So now let's focus on the fragment profile fragment. So first we need to handle intent to check if we have any data inside the profile table. So basically what we want, when the user first time opens the application, obviously he will not have his profile updated. He will not have any data in the profile table. So what we want, when the user opens the application for first time, and if he hasn't made his profile on the application, we want to check and we want to redirect him to the profile fragment before he can do anything else, like entering budget entries and seeing the reports and everything. So we want to go to profile fragment. So we'll be checking that condition and we'll be redirecting towards the profile fragment. So what we can do, we need to have as let me show you the function that we have created in the profile DAO. We have these two functions, insert profile data and get profile data. So we'll be using this get profile data function to check if we have something in the profile table or not, and if we have, we won't do anything, and if we don't have anything, we'll be redirecting the user. So let's check, but for that we need to have repository and view model for this, so because we are following the MVVM architecture. So if you don't know anything about the MVVM architecture, I'm gonna paste the link of a particular video of mine which gives the overview of what MVVM architecture is, so you can explore that video before watching this. So let's create repository class for profile repository. So right click on this package, new Kotlin class or file, profile repository, and this repository we also need to inject the profile DAO. So if you don't know how we are injecting stuff in different classes, I'll advise you to watch the dependency injection with Hilt of this playlist. I'll also paste the link to that video in the description. So at inject, and we need to import this annotation and constructor, and we need to inject profile DAO. So well, profile DAO of type profile DAO, and inside the class body we need to have a function. This doesn't need to be a suspend function, so we directly gonna write function get profile, and this will be equals to profile DAO dot get profile data. And also we'll create a function to insert the data in the profile. So this has to be a suspend function. So suspend function insert profile data, and we need to pass profile of type profile equals to profile DAO dot insert profile data, and just pass this profile. Now we don't really need to write anything in this repository, so we can close this. Now we need to create a view model for our to serve whatever we interact with the database to the UI. So in the UI package, let's create another package and we'll name it view models. and create a Kotlin file or class. This will be profile view model. So before we move further with the view model, we need to inject this view model. We need to annotate this class, not inject. We need to annotate this view model with @Hilt view model. So Hilt library can understand that this class is for view model, and now we can inject the repository in this. So inject constructor val profile repository of type profile repository, and this class will extend from view model. There it is. And here we'll create one variable for live data. So val profile live data equals to data equal, and this will be of type live data, of type list, of type profile, because this is what we get when we call the functions in the profile DAO to get the profile data. And this will be equals to profile repository dot get profile. And we also will create a function to insert the data. So fun insert profile data profile of type profile equals to, and this is a suspend function, so we need to launch a coroutine. So view model scope dot launch, and here profile repository dot insert profile data when we'll pass profile, and that's it. We don't need to write anything else in this view model for now, so we can close this class. And now in the main activity, we need to inject we need to annotate this class as @Android entry point. Here @Android entry point. So what Android entry point is basically whatever class which is related to UI task like fragments, activity, and that we need to inject those as Android entry point, so Hilt can understand that this class is an actual entry point of all the injections. So we have created an entry point, and now we need to create a variable for our view model here. So we can create private val profile view model of type profile view model, and by view models. And need to import this. There it is. And now inside this main on create, we will be checking, we'll create another function to check for profile data. So this will we'll do this at the top of the on create method right after we set the content view. So let's name this function check profile data, and let's create that function. And in this function we'll use the view model that we just have created. So here we can use profile view model dot profile live data dot observe, and we need to pass this as an owner. And here we'll check if it basically it is the list of profiles. So if it dot is empty, we'll redirect user to the profile fragment, and we can do that by using nav controller dot navigate r dot id dot action global profile fragment. And that's it. We don't need to write any piece of code further. Now, so we have an image view inside our profile fragment. So when we want, what we want exactly is we want okay, before we move further, I just forgot, we also need to handle when exactly we want to show see the profile fragment option, because we don't have an option in the navigation bar. We just have enter budget and see reports in the navigation bar. So we will create an option menu to get redirected to profile fragment. So let's create another menu class, menu file, resource file here. So right click on menu resource file, and we'll name it option menu, and it will have a single item, and ID will be ID, and this will be a profile fragment. And again, we need to take care that this ID has to be the same as we have in the nav graph. So profile fragment title will be profile, and icon will be IC profile. That's it. And now go to main activity, and we need to create override two functions. So first one is on create option menu, and here we need to replace this return statement with menu inflator dot inflate r dot menu dot option menu, and we need to pass this menu as a second parameter that we have in the constructor, and we just write return true. Now to handle this item selection, we need to override another method, which is on option item selected. And as we are using the navigation component, so here we also need to check for another return type, which is item dot on navigation destination selected, and we will just pass nav controller here. And or if we don't have anything, we don't have a return type of anything here, we'll just execute the super method here. So yeah, that's it. We have created option menu to redirect to fragment. So now we can close this main activity, and now we can talk about profile fragment. So first thing in here, we'll handle profile picture. So when user clicks on the profile image view, we'll launch an activity result launcher to load an image from local storage. So let's do that first. So now let's go to the Kotlin file of this profile fragment, and in here we'll be using that. First, let's create a variable for view model. So private val profile view model of type profile view model by view models. And yes, another thing is, before I forget, let me annotate this class as at Android entry point. And yeah, now we can create a variable outside this uncreated function, and this variable we're gonna use to launch the activity result launcher, and I'm gonna name this variable as private val take photo. That makes sense. So equals to register for activity result, and we can pass activity result contracts, activity result contracts dot get content, and open curly braces, and this will be this will return us the URI. So let me just rename it. So I'm gonna rename it as result. And okay, so as I said, this will return us the URI. So we need to have a variable for URI. So private late init var, I'm gonna name it file path of type URI. Okay, now we can use this file path variable, and we'll just assign the result to that. Okay, now what we want is to have the bitmap of the image. So let's create a variable for bitmap as well. So private late init var bitmap of type bitmap. So yeah, for handling bitmap, we need to check for the version control, version of the Android OS on the phone. So we'll check if build dot version dot SDK int is greater than or equal to build dot version codes dot p. If that's greater than that, well, source equals to image decoder dot create source require context dot content resolver, and this should be non-null, and we'll pass this file path. So now this source will give us the image source, and we need to create a bitmap. So we will create a bitmap out of this source, and we'll store that bitmap in the local storage of the application. So let's use that bitmap variable. So bitmap equals to image decoder dot decode bitmap, and we just need to pass this source here. Now to save the image, we'll create another function. So I'm gonna name it save image to internal storage, and we need to pass two variables here. The first thing is the name of the file, and second thing is the bitmap. So here we need for file name, we can directly pass the file path, but we'll be using file output stream to fetch the image when we want to show that image in our application. So we'll be using file output stream, which is not optimized to work with the file path when fetching. So I'll just hard code the name of the image just to simplify things. So I'm gonna simply hard code this as profile, and we'll pass bitmap here as a second parameter. And now we can create this function, and we will just change the name of this as file name, and I'm sorry, this function will return boolean, and we have to return we'll also be using try catch just to catch a possible exception. So catch e of type IO exception e dot print stack trace, and if something happens I want to return false, otherwise we'll be simply returning true. So in this try block now, to save the image, we'll write require context dot open file output, and we'll just pass this file name that we have received from the constructor. So file name dot jpg mode private, because we don't want any other files to access this. So mode any other applications to access this file of this application. So we'll just use mode private. You might need to import this dot use, and this will, as I said, is a file output stream. So let's rename it to output stream. Okay, so now we need to check for conditions. If bitmap dot compress bitmap dot compress format dot will be saving as JPEG format, and we'll be reducing quality to 95, and we just need to pass this output stream. And inside this if condition, we have an extra brace here anyway. So inside this if condition, we'll throw an exception just in case, throw IO exception and could not save bitmap. Okay, so that's it for this function. Now we also need to load the image from the local storage, so we need to create a function for that as well. So let's create that down here. Let me make some space here. Okay, so while we'll be fetching the image, we want to do that asynchronously, so let's create a suspend function for that. So suspend function, and this also will be the private function, private suspend function. I'm gonna name it load image from internal storage, and this will return a list of image type of internal. We actually haven't created this class, but we are gonna. So let me just write internal storage photo, and this will be a data class. So let's just copy this name, and let's create a data class in this util package, and this will be data class, and let's just paste this here. So in this data class, we just want to have a name of the image and a bitmap. So well name, and this will be a type string, and well bitmap of type bitmap. So that's it, and we can close this, and we have to import it here. So now inside this file, inside this function, we can return, as we are using suspend function, we want to launch a coroutine here. So return with context, and we'll use dispatcher.io, as this is an IO operation. So we'll create a variable files equals to require context dot files directory dot list files. So what this variable files, what this will return is a list of all the files in the internal storage. So now we need to filter out things, so we'll use files dot filter here, and we'll use it can read if it is a readable file, and it can is file, obviously we'll check for that as well, and it dot name dot ends with so we are saving a name as filename dot jpg, as you can see here. So we can check for that if the file name is ending with jpg or not. So yeah, that's it, and we will be creating a map out of it. So dot map well bytes equals to 8 dot read bytes, and well bitmap equals to bitmap factory dot decode byte array, and we can pass these bytes. Offset will be 0, and bytes dot size right there, and that's it. An internal storage photo, and we'll pass this it dot name and bitmap to the data class. So we can use this load image from internal storage function to load out all the images that we have in the internal storage of the application. So yeah, this is giving me an error. I don't know why. Let's check what is wrong here. Okay, we have double parentheses, so we can remove one here. Okay, sorry, right here. Okay, that's it. Now okay, now as I said, when we will be clicking on the image, we want to launch this activity for result launcher. So we can handle this in the onCreate method, onCreate function, which is here. So let me remove this all, and let me also get these two functions down at the bottom of this onCreated function. Okay, so now we can use binding dot profile image dot set on click listener, and we can use this take photo variable. So take photo dot launch, and we can pass we want to have everything that is image, right? So we can write it like this. Now let's also create a functionality to hide and show particular fields from the profile fragment for different use cases. So let me take you to this profile fragment. So we have current balance, initial balance, submit details button, and we also have another button which is update current balance, which is for now the visibility of that is gone, so we cannot see that. But we want to create a different functionality so we want to have different states. So if user doesn't have any profile, we want to we don't want to show him this update current button, for example. But if he has another if he already has profile existing in the database, we don't want him to show this submit details button. Instead, what we want is to show this update current balance button. So yeah, let's handle that functionality now. For that, we will be creating two functions. So let's just create it here. So private func. So first function will be change view visibility for registrations, let's say. So change view visibility for registration, and here we'll simply use binding dot submit profile. So this function is for when user is not registered already and user is basically registering. So so we want to show the user submit profile button. So dot visibility equals to view dot visible, right? So same way, we don't want the user to see update current balance button, so we can use binding dot update current balance dot visibility equals to view dot gone. And same way, binding dot balance layout dot visibility equals to view dot gone. And now let's create a function, another function for state when user has already registered. So private function, and we will name it change view visibility, change view visibility post registration. That makes sense. And let me just copy paste these 3 lines, and we don't want user to see submit profile once he's registered, so we'll use gone in here. Then we want to show these 2 things, so view dot visible and view dot visible here as well. So now let's submit the budget entries into the database table. So we will create, okay, so we want that to happen when the user clicks on the submit profile button. So binding dot submit profile dot set on click listener, and we're gonna create a function for that. So submit data, and we'll be passing on different values here. So first thing will be binding dot profile name dot text dot to string. Same way, we want to have binding dot profile image, profile email, not image. Why is okay, I forgot the comma there. Then binding dot bank name. Then we want initial balance, and we will also be using material. Okay, what I have, I forgot what I have given the ID to this checkbox, material checkbox it is. So why it's not showing up? Okay, again I forgot the comma. Material checkbox dot is checked. And for profile, if you are wondering, we'll be dealing that later. So let's create a submit data function. Let's create it down here. Private submit. Okay, let me instead of doing it that way. Okay, this is simpler. So first parameter is profile name, and second parameter is profile email. And if to make it more readable, let me just realign everything. Bank name, type string, initial balance, and checked. That's it. And in this function we'll use profile view model. So profile view model dot insert profile data, and we have to insert profile here. So first thing is name equals to profile name, email equals to profile email. Then we have profile image file path. So profile image file path equals to file path dot toString. Then bank name equals to bank name. Current balance equals to initial balance dot toFloat. We'll be storing it as float. And initial balance equals to initial balance dot toFloat. And primary bank equals to checked. So that's it. We don't really need to do anything else here. Also, let's create a so I want to create a shared preference, and I want to store the value of if we have created a profile. I want to store a value of something in the to basically check if we have something in the profile. I want to create a shared preference for that. So let's create that one. So let's go at the top of the class, and let's have private let init var my pref of type shared preferences, and inside the onCreate where is it? Yep, here I'll use my pref equals to required context dot get shared preferences, and I'm gonna create two const variable inside our constants file in the util package. So first thing is preference name and mode private. So let's create this variable in the constants file. Const val preference name equals to let's say my preference, or say profile preference. And yeah, that's it. Now go back to profile fragment, and once we have submitted the profile, then we want to edit this shared preference. So yeah, we need to import this here. So once we have submitted the data, what I want to do, well, editor equals to mypref dot edit editor dot put boolean. I want to put boolean to check if preference profile existence. So this will be a key, and once we submit the profile, I want to change the value of this boolean to true. Editor dot apply, and also I want the user to be redirected to the calendar view fragment once he submits the value. So find nav controller dot navigate r dot id dot an action profile fragment to calendar view fragment. Here it is. So we also need to create this preference profile existent key. So let's go to constants again. Const val preference key equals to this, and also import it here. Okay, so we don't need to do anything else as far as the inserting the data is concerned. Now we will be loading the data out of the database. So go back to on create function. Here is, so here we can use the profile view model, and we can use the live data that we have created. So right here, let me make some space. So profile view model dot profile live data dot observe, and we'll pass view lifecycle owner, and let me just rename it as profile. So we'll check if profile dot size, so as we are getting the list of profiles, so if the size of that is greater than or equal to 1, so if we have something inside that, we want to do view lifecycle owner dot lifecycle scope dot launch, because we also want to we have created a suspend function to load the image, so that's why we have created another coroutine. We have launched another coroutine inside this observer. So here we can have val list of profile equals to and we can use that function that we have created, so load image from internal storage. So this will have all the list of image inside this list of profile image variables. Okay, let me just rename this. This is not the proper name, list of image, let's say. Yeah, so now we can loop through these variables. So for I in list of image, if I dot name dot contains, yeah, here it is, contains, and we can pass the name that we have hard coded, so profile, and we can use glide here. So glide dot width required context dot load I dot bitmap dot circle crop and dot into binding dot profile image. Yeah, that's it. And now outside this we also want to load every data of other fields. So binding dot bank name dot set text, so profile dot bank name, and same way will be displaying every bit of value. So binding dot initial balance to initial balance, binding dot current balance to current balance, and this we need to convert to string because we have saved these values as float. So dot to string, Then we also have material checkbox, so we need to write dot is checked equals to profile dot primary bank right there. And I almost forgot profile name to profile name, and we also have email as well, so profile email to email, and not this one, name. Yeah, everything is done. And if okay, I just forgot, so if the profile doesn't have anything, so we will just toast dot make text required context. We will just toast complete profile toast dot make toast dot length start dot show. Alright, so we don't really need to do anything else, and we can now run our application to see if everything is working or not. So let's run our application. Okay, so the application is launched, but I just forgot I created the shared preference when we submitted the data, but I actually forgot to use that, so we can use it here. So if we can use that to change to use these two functions that we have created to change the different states. So if myPref dot contains, and we can check preference profile existence key. So if that exists in this shared preference, that means the profile is already been created, so we can use that change view visibility post registration functions because the profile has already been created, and else we can use change visibility for registration here. So yeah, now it is done. So let's rerun the application. Okay, so application is run, and let's wait, and it should redirect directly to profile fragment, and here it is, and it's telling us to complete the profile. So let's click on this image view and see if it launches the gallery or not. So it does. So let's see if we have any images in here. Okay, we have. So here, let's choose this image, and I'm gonna enter every details. Gray at 123.com. Bank name will be Barclays. Initial balance I want to be £1,000. Okay, and I'm just gonna click this primary bank, and let's submit the details, and it should redirect to this calendar view fragment. So now if we go to the profile fragment, we should see all the details which is fetched from the database, and we can also see that the current balance view is now visible, and the button is changed to the update current balance. So yeah, that's it for this video. There was a lot to learn. This is a long video, so I'll advise you to if you haven't understood anything, I'll just watch the video again, or you can also comment down your queries in the comment section. I'll see you guys in the next video, and also like this video and share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. So, and also when you subscribe, press the bell notification so you get the notification whenever I post a video. So that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next video.